All right, I think we are live and back. What's up, everybody? Welcome into another episode of Orioles Weekly. This week, we've got lots of news. First spring training game in the books for me as we went and saw the Orioles play today. Lots of observations to talk about there. We're also going to talk about what we saw today, some of the new, some of the Orioles things that have been happening with Kyle Stowers, Cedric Mullins updates, and a lot more on this week's episode of Orioles Weekly. Oh, no sound. So, hopefully you guys are there. I think you can see me. Welcome in, everybody. Hope you guys are having a great week. Great start to your Monday. We got lots to talk about. Again, the Orioles today had a spring training game down in Sarasota. The Orioles played the Twins. I was at the game today. I have a lot of observations to talk about from the game. So we'll be doing that. Hope everybody's having a good start to the day. For those that don't know, if this is your first time in here, we go live from the parks. From the park. I'm so used to my other channel. We go live every Monday with Orioles Weekly. We're doing a late show today because I got back from the game late. So I had to make sure I had everything prepared and ready to go. But normally we go at 6 p.m. On Mondays, but tonight it was a little bit later than normal. But normally we'll go right around 6 p.m. Before any Oriole games start to do our Orioles Weekly, talking about the weekend review, things, all the news, MLB news as well, all kinds of different stuff. Of course, Tuesdays and Wednesdays we do Orioles videos. Right now we're in the process of doing our top 25 Baltimore Orioles of all time. So be sure to check them out every Tuesday and Wednesday at 9 a.m. A video will drop. And, of course, every Thursday, we have our Baseball Hall of Fame profile. Every Thursday at 9 a.m., we drop a video of a profile of a Baseball Hall of Famer. Every single Hall of Famer at some point will have a profile. So check those out. Check out our previous videos as well, because there's been a ton of them out there, and they're tons of fun. I love them. I think they're great. I've learned so much just preparing those videos. So it's been a lot of fun. Let's see who's here right now. We've got Dan is in the chat, 820 Teef, and Jeff Condon. Thank you, guys. Again, 6 people in here right now, or 6 likes already, so thank you all for that. We appreciate it. And lots to talk about today, so we're going to get right into it. But I want to talk about spring training. We went out there today. Charlie, one of my friends, went with me. We went out and saw, hey, Jeannie52573. Hi, Jeannie. Welcome in. Good to have you here. Went out to the game today, saw the Orioles play the Twins. Orioles right now have a 9-1 record in spring training. It's spring training. What does it really mean? It doesn't really mean much. But they are playing well. What it means to me is they have depth. Even when their starters aren't in the game, their second and third tier guys are really good players. And they've been playing really, really well. Well, today was kind of an exception to that because they lost 7-2. And there's a lot to talk about that. But I do want to share some. Hey, Nomadic Brian, welcome in. Lots to talk about. I'm going to share some videos of it. So the first thing I want to share with you guys, I went out there and I saw the stadium for the first time. I went to Ed Smith Stadium. I'm going to show you some photos here or some video. This stadium is really, really pretty. Check this out. It's really, really a beautiful stadium. I couldn't believe just how nice it was. It was fantastic. I couldn't believe it. Here's another view from the outfield. They have that nice seating area out there. It was just amazing. We had a great day, a little bit overcast, but that was kind of nice with the sun and everything. But I really enjoyed that. I thought it was a blast. Here's another view of that from out there. Just the full view of the stadium. It's a nice area. If you're ever down in the Sarasota area for spring training, I highly recommend you go because it was a blast for sure. Let me get these done. I do want to show you a couple other ones too. Not that one. This one. Oh, nope, we're going to get to that in a minute. But anyway, really nice stadium. I enjoyed it a lot. We had a lot of fun with it. I'm on eCam now, so I'm getting used to this for the first time. But some of the observations I'll talk about from the game. The Orioles were really off balance today in the hitting department. They really only had, and I'll show you those 2 at-bats, they really only had 2 at-bats that they hit the ball well. They seemed just off balance all day long. It didn't matter which Twins pitcher it was. Nobody really hit the ball hard. Nobody really hit the ball well. Gunnar got a hit. I'll show you his hit in a minute. And Adley hit one to the wall. I'll show you his in a minute as well. But they were really off balance today. Craig Kimbrell came into the game. Him, Dean Kramer, really struggled. Kramer was behind in the count the entire game. Never ahead in the count. Pitching behind 2-0, 3-1 to hitters throughout the entire game. Never was ahead and just did not do well at all. Craig Kimbrell got just smoked. I mean, every pitch he was throwing up there, the hitters for Minnesota were hitting it, and they were hitting it loud and hard. He had a bad day. He gave up 4 runs in an inning, and everything. It was just loud contact the entire time he was in the game. Yennier Cano got behind in the count on a few guys, but he did get out of the inning unscathed. Just wasn't a good day overall for the Orioles. Jeff Snook, welcome in, buddy. Well, good to see you, buddy. My Twins got you today. Agreed. That park is trying. Yeah, it really is a good park. Sarasota is a great place. Used to head down there from Clearwater when I lived in the area. Nice, yeah. Yeah, it was Jeff, we didn't have our A game today, and Minnesota played well. I mean, they really, really did. But it was good to see a couple things. It was good to see. It was good to see Gunnar Henderson. I'll show you a couple of them real fast here with Gunnar in the game. See if I can get it. So here's one play. This is a nice play over here. Watch this. That was Austin Hayes trying to get to that ball. He didn't get to it, but Gunner's back out in the field. He's playing center. He's playing shortstop again. So it's good to see Gunnar out there. Let's see what else I can do here. Hold on one second. We'll get rid of some of these, and that might help us. Also want to show you one of his at-bats right here. Let's see if I can get you. So this is Adley's at-bat. This is one of the only good at-bats the Orioles had today. Or is this the at-bat where I think this is the one I don't want to show you guys just yet. Yeah, I don't want to show you this one just yet. But I'll show you a couple of the at-bats. I'm sorry, guys. Here's Gunnar's hit. He did get a hit today. Single to right field. It was a good at-bat for him. It was his only hit. He only got 2 appearances today. First at-bat, he struck out. Second at-bat, he got the base hit. But it was a good at-bat for him. And it was like the first pitch. The first at-bat, he took a few pitches. When he's more aggressive in the zone, he tends to do better. And that was the first pitch of that at-bat. And as you see, he lined it into right field for a base hit. There's Melissa. Mouse Talk. T. Marie's place. Hey, Tina. Good to see you, dear. Thanks for being here. I appreciate all of you. Of course, you guys are all people I know. Be sure to hit that like button, gang, as well. Definitely helps. But I do want to show you guys a few other things. So here's the at-bat with, for those of you that don't know, we'll kind of move on to the next thing. So that was my observations about spring training. The game, the stadium itself is beautiful. It's small. It's pretty small. It's not a very big stadium. Even for a what I would consider a spring training stadium, it seemed pretty small. But it was beautiful. I really enjoyed it. Very cozy. We had a nice time. Not a bad seat in the house. I really liked the stadium. Obviously, it's Orioles, so there's plenty of Orioles stuff all over the place. But it was really, really nice. And as for the game itself, everybody just looked off balance in the hitting department. Nobody hit the ball well. It was, I think, 1 or 2 hard hit balls the entire game for the Orioles. Whereas with Minnesota, they were hitting the ball everywhere. They just had a good day. Pitching-wise, we didn't look good in the pitching department either. So, for what it's worth, that's what I saw, in my opinion, when it came to today's game as to observations. Now, as for that, from there, I want to talk a little bit about Cedric Mullins. Now, Mullins, and we're going to get into Mullins, and that's why I'm going to leave that up there on the screen for you guys. Last year, or a couple years back, Cedric Mullins was the first player in Orioles history to ever go 30-30. What is 30-30? That means 30 home runs and 30 steals. No other Oriole had ever done it before. He was the first one to ever do it. But ever since that, his numbers have continued to decline. And last year was one of his worst years. I think he had 16, 17 home runs, 79 RBIs. He batted .233. He only played in 116 games. He missed like 50 games. And that was due to injuries. He kept having groin injuries, leg injuries. And Cedric Mullins' biggest asset is his legs. That's just, it is. He runs. That's what he is. He's a great center fielder because he can track balls, he can close, he can get to balls in the gap, and of course on the bases, he's a stolen base threat. He's going to steal anywhere between 20 to 40 bases a season. He's going to go first to third on a lot of balls. He's going to turn doubles into triples, singles into doubles. His legs are his biggest asset. He doesn't have a strong arm, and he's no longer a switch hitter. He just hits from the left side, so he's not going to hit tons of home runs. But your legs are what help drive the ball. It's all about the lower body. It's not the upper body. It's your hips and your legs. Well, today, in the first inning of the game, he got on base from a walk. And then, of course, Adley came to the plate. And this is what happened. If you guys continue to watch, Cedric Mullins got hurt. And he got hurt on this play. Now, for those that haven't seen it yet, you'll see it here in just a second. It's going to be on this play. Now, Cedric's on first. Rutschman's going to hit a ground ball, and Ced's going to run to second. I'll show it to you here in just a second. It should come up right here. Oh, no, that's the wrong one. Damn it, that's not exactly what I wanted to show you guys. I've got to get this better. But anyway, that's the one good at bat. That's the one good at bat that Rutschman did have. Is this the one? No, that's not it either. That's not it either. Maybe I didn't put it in there. I thought I did. This could be it. But anyway, Cedric Mullins hurt today. And that's not good at all. So supposedly he had some tightness in his, here it is. So as you see, you'll see Ced going down to second. And that's it. That's where he got hurt, right there. Now he didn't officially come out of the game right away. He stayed in the game for a little bit. He came out on the next play. Supposedly it's tightness in the hamstrings. And again, it's the legs. Not good. This is exactly what he needs. He is a runner. This is his thing. It's all about the legs. It's about the speed. It's about playing center field. And this is not good for us. So I think this is bad news. If we can get a full season, a full healthy season from Cedric Mullins, I'd look for anywhere between 20 to 22 home runs, 75 to 80 RBIs, and 30 steals. And of course, he's going to play great center field. But if we get what we got last year, that's not good, especially for a team that wants to contend for a pennant and make it to their first World Series since 1983. So they say right now they're not concerned about this. He's day to day, but hamstring quad injuries can linger, and they can be a problem. And they can especially be a problem for a guy who really relies on his legs. So let me know in the chat what you guys think. Is this something the Orioles need to worry about? Are we going to, is this something they need to be like, oh my God, here we go again? Or are we in a nice spot? Here's another view of the stadium. Just I wanted to show you guys just a little bit of what it looks like. Such a beautiful stadium. You ever get a chance to go to Sarasota, Ed Smith Stadium, go, because the stadium is really nice. I'm telling you, you'll love it there. You really will. But anyway, Cedric Mullins, I don't know what to think. It's worrisome. They really need him at the top of the lineup. They really, really do. Guys, there's 11 of you in here, and there's 12 likes. Thank you all for that very much. 10 of you in here, and the likes are growing already. T Marie Place, Tina's here. Thank you, guys. I haven't done this in a couple weeks, so I'm kind of out of sync, so I appreciate you guys being patient with me. One of the other topics I did want to talk about, of course, is Dylan Tate. Now, Dylan Tate last year did not play at all for the Orioles. He was on the injured list the entire season. He came back for a little bit. He re-aggravated his injury. He did not play at all last year. If we can get him back to his prior 2023 form, he's going to be a big asset to that bullpen. And so far, so good. He's healthy, he's pitching, he's being effective, and it's exactly what the Orioles need. Brian says, prospects making an argument to get a spot in the outfield. Best ability is available. I say that all the time, Brian. I say it all the time. I'm not kidding. I always say the best ability is availability. I don't care how good you are. If you're not on the field, it doesn't matter. Mike Trout, great player, misses way too much time. Always hurt. Always on the injured list. Can't do it. Got to be on the field. That's what we pay you for. David Stevens, welcome in, buddy. Good to see you. The game was great today, David, and we had a really good time. They didn't win. They lost 7-2. They didn't play well. They didn't play well. It was a bad day. And then Cedric got hurt as well. Again, they're downplaying it for now. We'll see if they downplay it for long. But again, it's another setback. But, for one good thing that happened today with Gunnar Henderson getting back into the lineup, looking healthy, looking good, going, full speed. Now we've lost Cedric. That being said, this team is deep. If Mullins goes on the DL, you've got a Colton Cowser, you've got a Heston Kjerstad who are going to step in. And another guy who we're going to talk about with the next segment might also be able to step in and go to center field. And we'll talk about him in a minute. And I think these next two guys that we're going to talk about could step into center field. But I think this is going to help both of the. If Cedric goes on the DL, it's going to help the next two segments we talk about. It's going to help both of those guys. But I want to go back to Dylan Tate for a minute. He could be a real good setup man for the Orioles. If they can get him back healthy and effective like he was two seasons ago, he's going to make that bullpen that much stronger. Because then it'll slot everybody in positions they really want to be in. And if a Craig Kimbrell does falter and you have to throw a Yennier Cano in as closer for now, then that means you can have a Dylan Tate as your 8th inning setup guy. But now, if you've got Kimbrell saving games and being effective enough, you can put him in the 9th, Cano in the 8th, Dylan Tate, one of those guys in the 7th. You've really shortened the game. So Tate could be a really big X factor for the Orioles this year. And they know it. I think they know it. They're really excited to have him back. And I think it's going to be a big deal. Hopefully Tate continues to do it. I agree. And I think he will. I really do. He's looked good so far from what I've seen. His numbers are looking good. But talking about Cedric Mullins, of course, Jorge Mateo has been playing a lot of center field lately. He's been getting a lot of reps out there. They're trying to find ways to keep him on this team, just to be honest. And the more versatility that he has to not only be able to play a short, a second, but if he can now go to center field and play an effective, good center field, it's going to help his chances to make this team. Because if he can't play center, he's only a pinch runner. That's it. He's a utility guy again. Because we've got guys that can play short just as good as him and hit better than him. I mean, he hit like 210 last year. He was terrible. He had a great April, and then he fell off the face of the earth. I personally don't think he should make the team. I'm sorry. Speed is great, and that's all, but you can't steal first. And if he can't get on first, it doesn't matter. I like the guy, but we've got other options in the infield and in the outfield, to be honest with you. You've got Colton Cowser, who can play center field, and then the next guy I'm going to talk about can also play center field. And you also have got Ryan McKenna as well. Now, McKenna's not anywhere near the player that a guy like a Cowser or Mullins is, but he can fill in if Mullins is hurt, but not hurt for a long period of time. What's up, Richard? The legend in. But Mateo, it's going to really help his chances if he can be effective in the outfield. But he still has to hit. He has to hit. I'm sorry. If he's not going to hit, and he's going to hit 209, I mean, he was, after April of last year, look at his numbers. Look at his splits from May on. He was horrendous. I mean, it was just that bad. He couldn't hit at all, Mateo. It was just that bad. And we've got other guys that can be almost as good as him defensively that are going to hit a lot more. And I understand speed is great, but I don't know if I take up a roster spot just for a guy that has speed. Again, let me know in the chat what you guys think. You know, does his versatility now that he can play some center field, does it help him make this team, or does it not? What kind of arm does Mateo have for throwing out runners to bases? I would have to say that his arm is probably about the same as Cedric Mullins. Probably a little bit better. Mullins does not really have a very good arm. I would say because Mateo is a shortstop, he's probably got a pretty strong arm. It's going to be better than Mullins. So I think you get an upgrade with an arm. You get probably even an upgrade with speed because I think Mateo's faster than Mullins. I think Mateo's the fastest guy on the team. But can he track balls the way Mullins can? You know, is he going to be able to track those balls in the gap? Is he going to throw to the right base? Is he going to throw to the right cutoff man? These are the things, these are the little nuances that it's more than just being fast and being able to throw. You've got to know when to throw behind a runner. You've got to know where to hit the cutoff man, where you're throwing, the different areas, when to back somebody up, when to call somebody off. Remember, the center fielder is the guy that takes charge of the outfield. Is he going to remember that? Is he going to know to do that? Is he going to be aggressive enough to do that? There's a lot to learn out there. Hey, Jeanette and Eric Pressler. What's up, Eric? Welcome in, buddy. Too many better options than Mateo. I agree. I mean, that's just my opinion. I like the guy. But I think there are better options for this team. If speed is the only reason why they're keeping him on this team, I think that's a bad reason. I really do. If Cedric Mullins, hopefully, is healthy, You've got plenty of guys that can play the infield and the outfield. And I know they don't want to get rid of Jorge Mateo, but Mateo is not going to play 120 games this year, period. Who are you going to sit? Unless somebody God forbid, unless someone gets hurt or just is not producing, he's not going to play. I don't know. I don't understand where they're going with this. I understand there's loyalty, but that they've got to think about that one. So anyway, we'll see. We'll see what happens with Jorge Mateo. But again, I want to know from you guys. I don't think he makes the team. I'm sorry. I think he does make the team, but I don't think he should make the team. Brian says, let me get in here and look at Brian's message. Brian says, Mateo at the plate moving the foot is a flaw. He can hit if he remains disciplined with the stance, but usually reverts back to the bad stance. Well, that's the key, though. It's all about, it's like anything else. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. He's got to do it. It's just that simple. He can be that good, and that's all fine and dandy, but if he's not going to be disciplined enough, he's taking up a roster spot, period. Move on. Get somebody else in there. This team is built now to win. You've got to win. You've got to put the best 26 players out there that are going to make you win. Period. Loyalty can only go so far at this point. They want to win. They now have to do it. And if this guy isn't going to hit, he can't be on the team. They're going to need to hit. They have a nice rotation, but with Means out and Bradish out to start the season, they need to get off to a hot start. And April and May, they can do that. Look at their schedule for April and May. It's not that hard. It's just not. They have some really sub 500 teams, especially in April. They could get off to a fast start, but they're going to really need to hit. And I don't know. I would rather see Jackson Holliday, Jordan Westberg, Colton Cowser, Heston Kjerstad, those type guys make this team and give them an opportunity. Because I don't think cutting a Jorge Mateo makes you worse. Just my opinion. But anyway, we're talking about Cedric Mullins, and we're talking about Jorge Mateo, but another guy who can play center field and is just absolutely raking right now is, I think, the unknown guy that everybody forgets about, and that's Kyle Stowers. Now, Stowers, oddly enough, made the opening day roster for the Orioles last year. He did. He was on the opening day roster. He didn't get off to a good start. They sent him back down. He got hurt in the minor leagues. He was out for most of the season in the minor leagues. He never got back up. And then the Orioles just kind of forgot about him. That was it. I mean, he became a forgotten man in the Orioles organization because Kjerstad passed him, Colton Cowser passed him, a few of these other guys passed him. You've got Kobe Mayo, Connor Norby banging down on the door, Jackson Holliday. He kind of got lost in the shuffle, but he came back healthy, came back in shape, and he is mashing right now. I think he's got 3 home runs. He's hitting like 375, something like that, and all 3 of his home runs are against left-handed pitchers. Now, so it's lefty on lefty. And that was one of his real weaknesses, was the fact that he wasn't good lefty on lefty. But right now, at least, and I get it, it's spring training. But right now, he's looking really good, and he can play center field. And he can play a good center field. So does this help him to make this team? It could, but the other issue is right now Colton Cowser is playing really, really well. This guy is hitting really, really well. He hit a home run yesterday, I think it was, or the day before. He's hitting really well. He can play center field. Heston Kjerstad, I think, is a guy that, mark my words, is going to hit 40 home runs in a season. His raw power is undeniable. Talking about Heston Kjerstad. I think they're going to do everything they can to put him on this roster. But when you have a Mullins, a Hayes, and a Santander as your starters, Kjerstad, Cowser, Stowers, and Ryan McKenna, they all can't make the team. 2 of them, at the very least, have to be sent down. I don't see them carrying more than 5 outfielders. 3 starters and 2 guys that can come in. And if Jorge Mateo makes the team, that's another option in the outfield. And maybe that's why he will, going back to him for a minute. But Stowers, to his credit, has done really, really well. He hasn't given up. He's really fought back to give himself a legitimate chance to make this team. But the Orioles are so lefty-loaded now, that a guy like a Ryan McKenna might make the team because he's a right-handed option. What do you guys think in the chat? Let me know what you think in the chat. I'm curious as to what your thoughts are on Kyle Stowers. I like the kid. Personally, I wouldn't mind if he made it. Hey, Jan, what's up, buddy? Welcome in. Wow, Walt, you sound like the pro broadcasters I listen to at work on Sports Talk Radio. Thanks, Jan. I appreciate you saying that, buddy. But he's just right now, his splits are really, really good in spring training against left-handed hitters. And that's kind of what they need from him. They don't want to have this guy as a platoon. I mean, I guess that's what he will be if he makes the team, because he's not going to start over the other three. But I don't know. The Orioles are actually, I mean, it's a good problem to have. They have a plethora of riches here, when it comes to what they can do. They have so many different options. I'm interested to see what they're going to do with Stowers. I don't know. He might have one option left, but a guy like a Ryan McKenna doesn't have any options. So if he doesn't make the team, then ultimately the Orioles are going to have to DFA him, designated for assignment. They'll have to DFA him. And then at that point, if they DFA him, he'll have to clear waivers. He's probably not going to clear waivers. He's a good enough guy that he can be a utility player for another team. I seriously doubt he clears waivers. But if he does, then they can send him down in the minor leagues, and then at that point, he'll be down there. But if they want to keep a Ryan McKenna, he's got to make the club. And he's got to stay on the team, because ultimately they can't. He doesn't have any options left. So he's out of options. So the Orioles are going to have to make some tough decisions on some players. Let's see. Eric says Heston's long swing worries me as far as consistency. I don't think so. Eric, here's the thing with him. I don't see a Rob Deere in this guy. I really don't. I see a 265 hitter that's going to hit you anywhere between 30 to 40 home runs his first few years in the league. And then after that, I think he's going to be a 265, 270 hitter who's going to hit 40 jacks. I think he'll learn. I really do. And I think we have the right coaching staff to really help him to develop, to shorten his swing, and to take, to really adjust his hitting and help him with that. Look, some of these guys they're gonna swing and miss. Unfortunately, they just are. But you've got to decide, what do you want? And I think that the Orioles need a perennial 40 home run guy. I think they ultimately have two in their lineup. I really do. One of them plays shortstop, and I think it's Heston Kjerstad is the other one. I have a list coming up. I think I'm going to do it next Monday of my 40 bold predictions for the Orioles season coming up. 40 bold predictions. I'm going to give you all 40 next week. But one of them, for me, Heston Kjerstad is going to hit 40 home runs in a season in the major leagues. The raw power is just there. He has it. Sorry, guys. There we go. I didn't mean to do that. I hit the wrong thing. And I'm looking at the chat real fast. If you're hitting, there's always... I can't read that. I wish that heart would go away. I see what you're saying, Brian, but I can't see it. Brian said, if you're hitting, there's always DH. Yeah, but the problem with DH is the Orioles want to leave that as a versatile spot. They want to be able to rotate people in and out of that. They don't want a specific guy that all he does is DH. Because what they want to do, they want to be able to take a guy like a Rutschman and give him a break from having to catch on days when Brian McCann is catching, but still have his bat in the lineup. So they'll put him there, or maybe they'll take Anthony Santander and give him a day off in the outfield and put a Kyle Stowers or a Heston Kjerstad out there and let him DH. So they don't want that one guy that all he does is DH. It's just not, it's not their thing. Excuse me, guys. Sorry about that. They try to keep that position as flexible and as versatile as possible. And I agree with it. Personally, I like the idea of it being that versatile because it does give you more options when it comes to lineup. But anyway. But Kyle Stowers, I really think Stowers has a legitimate chance of making this team. But there's going to be some really tough decisions for the Orioles when it comes to this roster. I think a Connor Norby and a Kobe Mayo, no matter what they do, they're not making this team. Even Jackson Holiday. I think Jackson Holiday, he's doing fine for a 20-year-old kid who's only been in professional baseball for a year. He's off to a really good start. There's a good possibility he gets sent down because the Orioles have enough depth. They really do. You have a Jorge Mateo and a Ramon Urias, who I think is another guy we forget about, who won a Gold Glove just a couple years ago and can play anywhere in the infield at a high level, is another guy that could make this team. Jackson Holiday might get sent down. We might not see him on the opening day roster. So folks, be ready for that. That could happen. Maybe a Kyle Stowers or a Heston Kjerstad or Colton Cowser, some of those guys do get sent down. I don't know what else those guys have to prove in the minor leagues, personally. I think they're ready to go, but we'll have to see. We'll see what happens. Again, if you have comments, please give me some comments. I'd love to hear from you guys. Oh, excuse me. But yeah, it was a good day. It was nice seeing the ballpark. I think it's a really, really nice ballpark. I don't know if it's better than the one in Lakeland, the one the Tigers have. The one the Tigers have in Lakeland is really, really nice. And I think maybe that one's a little bit better because that's an actual minor league facility as well. Their minor league Lakeland Flying Tigers play there. I think that's Detroit's AAA or AA team. But that's a really nice stadium too. But the Orioles have a really good one. From where they used to be to where they are now, it's phenomenal. It's head and shoulders above what it used to be. But I would highly recommend, if you ever get a chance, do spring training. You'll really love it. It's an absolute blast. So there you go. That is a lot of the Orioles news. I did want to go into a few other things to talk about. See if I can find these other things I wanted to talk about with you guys. Of course, again, we'll talk about Wednesdays and Thursdays. Of course, Mondays, don't forget, right here, it still says Camden Chat. It's Orioles Weekly now. Don't forget about that. Tuesdays and Wednesdays, Orioles and Major League Baseball videos at 9 a.m. We are going to have the Orioles Game of the Week starting in April. Every Wednesday, sometimes Thursdays, depending upon the game times, we'll do a play-by-play of a game, so join us for that. And, of course, Hall of Fame player profiles. Thursdays for now. It's going to be Thursdays and Fridays very soon. I'm starting to get those videos together, so you'll start seeing them on Thursdays and Fridays as well. All right, let's see what else we want to talk about here. So I did want to go into our mailbag in a minute. I do have a mailbag question, and I have a trivia question tonight. So all of you in there, please, I have a trivia question. How did Aiken look today? Might need another lefty in the pen. Keegan Aiken looked good today. He was one of the only ones that really actually looked better than everybody else. He was effective. You're right. We have two lefties. We might need a third for sure. I agree, Eric. Max Webster, welcome in. Hey, Walt, Birds beat up Yanks the other day. Could be another great year. I think it will be, Max. I think the Orioles are very, very, I don't think last year was a fluke. They're a legitimate contender. They really are deep. I mean, this team is very deep. They have a lot of talent. And it's not just our people saying it. It's everybody. It's all the pundits. They're all saying this. They're all saying that, we have a very good team, very deep, pitching, defense, and hitting. They have it across the board. They have a great pen as well. As long as they can stay healthy and play the way they're capable of playing, they should have another really good year. They should. They really should. But they're in a tough division. Tampa Bay is going to be good. Toronto is going to be good. The Yankees are going to be the Yankees. You never know with Boston. You would think they're probably not going to have a good year, but you just never know. It's a tough division. If the Orioles are in the Central, and to be honest with you, even in the West, if the Orioles are in the West or Central, I think they run away with the division. But they're not. So we'll have to see. But there is some MLB news I wanted to talk about real fast, and then we'll get into the mailbag, and then we'll do our trivia question. Let's see if anybody can get this trivia question today. For those who don't know, Josh Donaldson retired today. He officially retired from Major League Baseball after 13 seasons. He was with Toronto for a while. He was with the Yankees. I think he started his career with the A's. He was the 2015 American League MVP, and he was a three-time All-Star. Josh Donaldson retired today. I don't know about, Josh Donaldson's a good player. Don't get me wrong. I think he's a very good player, but I don't think he's anything that was that good. I don't think he was great, but I do think he was a good player for sure. But he retired today after 13 seasons. Also, which I didn't know this, Zach Wheeler signed an extension with the Phillies today. He signed a 3-year, $126 million extension. Ever since he's been with the Phillies, 43-25 with a 3.06 ERA and 101 starts since he signed his original 5-year, $118 million contract back in 2019. It was the fourth best ERA in that time period. So he's been very, very effective for the Phillies, has been Zach Wheeler. So he signed an extension today. He made it seem like, and again, for what it's worth, he made it seem like at the end of that extension, when I think he'll be 38 or 39, he's hanging it up. That's it. He won't do it anymore after that. But we'll see. We'll see for sure. Anyway, that was the MLB news, the big news of the last couple days. Surprised with Josh Donaldson. Still relatively, I can't say young. I think he's 36, 37. But he hadn't signed with anybody, and I guess he just thought it was time to hang it up. But good career. Not great career, but good career for sure. Let's see what else I did want to go into. I want to go into the mailbag because we actually did have questions. One question in the mailbag this week, which I am going to bring up in just a second here, because there was one question. So the question was, it was from, I can't remember the name of the person who sent it in, but I apologize. But the question was talking about Buck Showalter. What did I think of Buck Showalter? I think he was a good manager. I think personally Buck Showalter is a very good manager. I think wherever he goes, he wins. His time with the Orioles, he was a very good manager with the Orioles. He did, he led them back to credibility in 2012 when he was with the O's. They went to the playoffs in 2014, 2016, 2012 with him. So he got into the playoffs a few times. Got to the ALCS against Kansas City in 2014, I think it was. Good manager. Was good. I think he was good with the Mets too. I think they kind of shortchanged him. They should have brought him back. But good guy. I would if I was a team that needed a good manager, he's probably the right guy for it. Good temperament, knows what to say, knows how to manage a team. I like Buck Showalter. He's probably going to be a manager and it's going to make the Hall of Fame at some point. And rightfully so. I think he should. Good guy for sure. So that's the mailbag. Don't want to go into that too much. But I do have a trivia question for you guys. I got to see if anybody can get this trivia question. So everybody in the chat, give me a thumbs up if you're ready for the trivia question, because this is a good one. Here's Adley. I'm going to show you all that. Yep, showed you guys that as well. I have a trivia question for you guys, but I need a thumbs up when you guys are ready to go. Because this one is going to be a toughie. No cheating. You can't look it up. Gunnar looked good today. Gunnar really looked good. He was definitely at full speed. But they took him out after his hit as well. Yep, Eric's ready. All right, looks like everybody's ready to go here. Eric says thumbs up. I got thumbs up from Jeannie as well. All right, so we're going to get this one. There's Jeannie with the thumbs up. Good job, Jeannie, as well. Jeff Snook, thumbs up. Okay, trivia question. Let's see who can answer this trivia question. Name the only player in Major League Baseball history to have the highest batting average in both leagues in a season, but not win the batting title. Again, name the only player in Major League Baseball history to have the highest batting average in a season in both leagues. So he had the highest average in both the American League and the National League in one season, but he still didn't win the batting title. Hey, Hope, welcome in. Hi, welcome in. Hope Fowler, welcome in. If anybody knows the answer, put it in the chat. You can't look it up. Okay? Don't look it up. If you think you know the answer, put it in the chat. I'm going to give you guys about 10 seconds here, and then I will bring up the answer, and I'll explain the answer as well. Anybody. If you don't know, tell me in the chat you don't know. I think this was a good one. I thought about this. I knew the answer to this question, but I want to see if anybody else can get it. I'll try to come up. I'm not going to have trivia questions every week, but I am going to have some here and there. So if you think you know, let me know in the chat. Who knows the answer to this question? Frank Robinson, Nomadic Brian says. Anybody else? Has to be Chris Davis. Rod Carew. Okay. Now again, had the highest batting average of the season and from both the National League and the American League. Didn't matter. This guy had the highest batting average, but didn't win the batting title. And I'll explain why as well. All right, so I've gotten a few answers. There's 10 of you in here. I've gotten 3 out of 10 answers, so we're about 30%. All right, so let me give you the answer to the trivia question. The answer is Eddie Murray. My favorite player of all time. So in 1990, Eddie Murray was playing for the Dodgers in the National League. He hit .330 for the season, but he did not win the batting title, even though his average was the highest average of the season. And I'll explain why. In the American League, George Brett hit .329 that year. He won the American League batting title. But Eddie hit .330 in the National League. Here's why he didn't win. Willie McGee, who played for the Cardinals, if I'm not mistaken, started the season in the National League with the Cardinals. And at the time, he was hitting .335 with the Cardinals. He was then traded in August from the Cardinals to the A's. And when he got to Oakland, he hit .274 with Oakland. So he hit .274 in Oakland. He hit .330 with the Cardinals. So at the end of the season, he had a .324 overall batting average. So again, Eddie still got the highest average. But Willie McGee had accumulated enough at-bats when he was still in the National League with the Cardinals by like 10 at-bats that he won the batting title. How about that? So Eddie had the highest batting average of the entire league, but he didn't win the title. It's about his career in a nutshell. Yep. Eddie Murray. Now, look it up. Look it up. You'll see it. Only guy to ever have the highest average in the entire league and not win the title, because Willie McGee had accumulated just enough at-bats to qualify for the title, for the batting title in the National League. I think it was hardly anything more than Eddie, but I think it was like 10 or 15 at-bats more than 10 or 15 that just made it enough for him to qualify. So he had, he was batting .335 when he left. He finished at .324, but he got the title. And Eddie had to settle for second. But how about that? Yep, Eddie Murray. Never won an MVP, although he should have. 1983, I'm sorry. Cal shouldn't have won it that year. It should have been Eddie Murray. But that's just me. And he didn't win a batting title because of something as odd as this. How odd is that? It's crazy. Hope says, I love the baseball passion going on in here. I'm in Arizona and dying to get some spring training games. Yeah, there you go. Money. Spring training games aren't cheap. But here's what I'll say, Hope. These cities really rely on these spring training games. I know that Sarasota generates somewhere like $60 to $70 million for that 8-week period of time that the Orioles are in Sarasota. It's a big deal for them. It's a big deal to their community and to their, what am I thinking? I can't think of the word. To their economy. So they're going to try all they can to make as much money as they can. And I get it. They need this income as best they can. Look, for Florida, it's a little bit different because some of these teams are right on the coast, so these cities are going to make money anyway because they're tourist attractions for like the beaches. Excuse me. But a place like Lakeland, where the Tigers play, other than once they leave, nobody's really going to Lakeland to see anything else unless they're going to see a minor league team. And even Sarasota's not right on the water. So it's a big deal for these teams. But I get it. It can be pricey. I know I paid a lot today. But it was fun. But yeah, that's your trivia question. That was a good one. I thought about that because I remembered that from long ago, and I was like, you know what? That's a fun trivia question. I wonder who's going to know that. And so I wanted to share that with you guys. But here's what I'll say. We're coming up on the end of the show here. Here's what I'll say. Fingers crossed with Cedric Mullins. They really need him. They really do. If we can get a healthy Cedric Mullins at the top of the lineup, it just slots, just like with the rotation when we got Corbin Burns. It really is a big deal to the Orioles because with righties, Cedric can lead off. And with lefties, he can hit further down on the lineup. He can hit 8th or 9th, and you can have somebody else leading off. So he's going to be a big important piece to this Orioles team that really wants to get off to a good start. And I really hope that it is only day to day. But it's starting to worry me now that for the second straight season, we're seeing these lower body injuries from Cedric Mullins. And I don't know what that's going to mean long term for him. Because the other thing is, too, after next season, he's a free agent. He may not be back. That may be the reality of this. But we'll see. I don't know. Again, we'll see. But, it was good to have Gunnar back. We did have that. Adley looked good today behind the plate. I did get to see Eddie Murray. Eddie Murray was there. He waved to the crowd. He's one of the guest instructors this week. I didn't see Adam Jones, although Adam Jones is there. I didn't see him. But Gunnar looked good. Adley looked good. Got to see a little bit of Enrique Bradfield. A real thin guy. Boy, does he need a sandwich. Somebody's got to feed that kid. Excuse me. But boy, he can run. But he'll be fine. They'll bulk him up. But good day. Beautiful weather. Going to another game in a couple weeks, so I'll have some more observations from that game. And again, we'll be back next Monday with more information. We'll talk more Orioles talk. We'll do some more mailbag stuff. So again, if you have questions, something pops up in the middle of the week, send me a question. Send it to camdenquestions@gmail.com. Would love for you guys to send me a question. I love answering them online on the streams. They're just a blast for sure. But I think everybody, I want to say thank you to everybody who did join. Not a lot of you in here, but I appreciate you who did. Dan's here, 820 Chief, Jeff Condon, Jeannie, Nomadic Brian, Jeff Snook, Team Marie's Place, Melissa Mousetalk, David Stevens, thanks David. Richard, the legend, R. Johns came in as well. Jan came in for a little bit. Jan, Eric Pressler's here. And of course, Hope came in as well. Hope Fowler. Hope, thank you. I hope you subscribed, Hope. That's it, gang. I think that's everything for the year. Again, I think next week I'm going to do my 40 bold predictions on the season. My 40 bold predictions on the season. And then the week after, I'm going to do my predictions for the year. I'll give you my division winners. I'll give you my playoff winners, my World Series champ. I'll give you my Cy Young winners. I'll give you my MVPs, stuff like that. We'll go over all that. We'll do that in 2 weeks. Next week, I'll give you my 40 bold predictions for the Orioles for the season. Should be a lot of fun. But remember, next week, join us for all that. Tomorrow, we'll have another Orioles video. Wednesday, another Orioles video. My top 25 Baltimore Orioles of all time. Check those out. Please check those out. Be sure to check out our next Hall of Fame profile on Thursday. It's going to be a blast. You're going to really enjoy these. I think it's going to be one of the greatest pitchers of all time. So you don't want to miss that one. Yeah, I have 40 bold predictions. 40 of them. So we got a lot to go over next week. So don't miss next week's show. But other than that, it's going to be a great year. I can't wait. Really excited. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. This has been a blast. I don't know why the music didn't play on my intro. I'll have to figure that out. I don't know why it didn't. But you guys have a great week. Thank you for being here. Hope you guys have a great day. And other than that, I don't even know how to turn this thing off. Oh, finish. I don't know. I don't use eCam. Have a great week, everybody. Take care of yourselves and each other. Keep rooting for those O's. We'll talk to you soon.